So, you started reading this book or watching this show, and you're pretty sure that it's the greatest thing since sliced bread, and you definitely don't have enough people to share that fact with. What's a newbie fangirler boy to do? Why, turn to the internet, of course. There's a huge community of online fandom where there are people who are just as sure as you are the various things of which one can be a fan of are the greatest things since sliced bread. There's a whole host of places on the internet where activity happens, and even more varied kinds of activity happens in those places. All this might seem pretty intimidating to the uninitiated, but that's where I come in. Think of me as your trusty native guide to a stranger in a strange land. Over the course of this video, I'm going to be telling you where to find fandom on the internet, the kinds of people you're going to find there, the kind of stuff you can expect to see, and the way you'll be expected to behave during our visit. So you sitting comfortably? No? Go ahead, get comfy. I'll wait. You good? Then let's begin. So the first thing you're going to need to know to get involved with online fandom is where to look. First and foremost, Google is your friend. Type whatever you're looking for into that search box, add key phrases, and you're golden. When in doubt, consult Google. A true practitioner of Google Foo will rarely find themselves adrift in fandom's oceans. But you're here for more guidance than just Google it. So here are a few tips. 1. Search for message boards. Message boards are, according to Wikipedia, online discussion sites where people can hold conversations in the form of posted messages. Said messages are usually put together by topic in forums or subforums. If this sounds like a kind of discussion which interests you, I will now bring you back to Google. Type whatever it is you're looking for along with the key phrases forum or message board, and you'll be able to find something. But if you're looking for a more broad topic of media, such as sci-fi or fantasy, try typing that in along with the words forum or message board. Then you'll be able to find something and start posting. Number 2, LiveJournal, or its more fandom-centered clone, Dreamwith. LiveJournal is a community-based blogging platform where you can create an account with extensive privacy controls. Once you join, you can join communities, make comments, and post on the comments of others. In its heyday, LiveJournal used to be one of the biggest hubs of fandom activity. But due to the recent succession of new owners and their shenanigans, a lot of people have dispersed. Some of them went to Dreamwith, which is a site that was created off the open source code of LiveJournal, but it was created by fans with the intent to cater to fans. Other people went to the site that is tip number 3, Tumblr. Tumblr advertises itself as a microblogging site. Given that it caters to the hipster set, Tumblr's powers that be have never been entirely comfortable with fandom's enthusiastic and unironic enjoyment of stuff. But fandom has created a unique way of communicating for Tumblr's interface, involving the use of tags for commentary and organization, in addition to an extensive use of animated GIFs for expressing feelings, among other things. And until Tumblr's powers that be succeed in undermining everything that fandom likes about Tumblr, a lot of fandom's going to be happening there. Once you create your account, you can search for blogs through the use of tags for things that you're interested in. And then you can just follow whoever's posting about it. And then you can just scroll through your dash and enjoy the content. You can also produce your own, or reblog that of others, putting their content on your page, still connected to the original post. 4. Much fanfiction-related activity happens at purpose-built fic archives. 2 of the main archives these days are fanfiction.net, which has been around for ages, and an archive of our own, or AO3, which is created by the same people as Dreamwith and is much younger. Generally, you're more likely to find better fan fiction at AO3 than at fanfiction.net, but you can always still find good stuff at fanfiction.net and bad stuff at AO3. So now that you know where to go to find fandom spaces, you're going to need to know a few things about the people. Fandom is a rich subculture, and it comes with its own vernacular, customs, and traits. I could write books on the languages of fandom, so what we cover here will be necessarily incomplete. We're just going to hit the highlights. Shipping. No, we're not talking about shipping packages. In fandom, shipping is about relationships. Relationships. Shipping. Get it? As a verb, it is, I ship those two characters. As a noun, it is, they are my favorite ship. Usually it's used in a romantic context, but it can also be used platonically, generally with a qualification making that clear. But the default is that shipping is romance related. Canon, or what actually happens in the source material. Now this sounds more straightforward than it actually is. Even in single source fandoms, the canon is up for interpretation. And then there's fandoms like Star Trek, Star Wars, Doctor Who. These giants have TV shows, movies, books, commentary from creators, comic books, alternate universes, radio plays. These fandoms are constantly debating on what actually counts as canon. Fanon and personal canon. Fanon is things about the source material that aren't explicitly stated in the canon, but are generally accepted as true by the majority of fandom, or whatever is most consistently used by fanfiction writers. Personal canon, or a headcanon, is a more limited version of fanon, having to do with a fan's ideas of things that aren't explicitly stated in the canon. Troll. As a noun, it is a person who deliberately tries to stir up trouble or start a fight. As a verb, it is the act of purposefully starting a fight. Gen, het, and slash. These are fan fiction terms. Gen refers to a fiction in which there is no romance or sex. Het refers to a fiction in which there is heterosexual romance or sex. And slash refers to a fiction in which there is homosexual romance or sex. AU, or alternate universe. This is another fan fiction related term. It is used to describe a fiction based on a version of the canon that has been altered in some way. Ideally, it is used so you can see how one single change can affect the rest of the storyline, not to write your own story with fan fiction terms. For example, one might write an all-human version of the Vampire Diaries, or a coffeehouse version of spy show Alias. One of fandom's most popular ways of communicating, especially on the section of fandom that resides on Tumblr, is through the use of a strategically animated GIF. Now, there is an argument on whether or not to use a soft or a hard G when pronouncing the word GIF. This argument is vitriolic, and you must pick a side. Fandom is passionate in all of its pursuits. One of the reasons why using animated GIFs is so helpful when communicating on the internet is because the internet is exceptionally devoid of emotions. Like, if you're writing, "oh my god," in all caps, someone's not going to know whether you're angry or excited. But if you put a picture of one of your favorite actors with the emotion of and an "oh my god" expression, then you're obviously expressing your very shocked emotion. GIFs are super helpful when you don't know how to put your emotions into words. I mean, as they say, a picture's worth 1,000 words, right? A few final words about the locals. Some fandoms are old and large, and they have members that are more likely to act like Clint Eastwood in Gran Torino when meeting a newbie member of fandom. Get off my lawn. Than they are to welcome said newbie with open arms. These old guard fandoms Star Trek, Doctor Who, Tolkien, Star Wars. They have high expectations of behavior, and when newbies come in who don't know the rules, these grizzled fandom veterans don't always react with the most understanding or attempt to be helpful. Don't let it scare you away. These fandoms often have communities of younger members where newbies can acclimate to the customs without as much trial by fire. Another way of shortening your period as a newbie and lowering your risk of being chased off a fandom's lawn is by lurking for a while. Once you get the lay of the land and you feel more comfortable, you can start getting more involved in the fandom. So what can you look forward to as an active participant in fandom? The first and most basic form of fandom activity is discussion about the subject of the fandom. Posts about one's emotions or reaction to what happened in the source material is not usually referred to in any special way. Posts that delve into detailed analysis, particularly those focused on character arcs, symbolism, theories about future plots in the story. These are often referred to as meta. Discussions and meta are fandom's bread and butter. Fanfiction is stories about the characters and or situations that are depicted in the source material of any given fandom. Now, the stereotype outside of fandom is that all fanfiction is crap. Well, a lot of it is, but not all of it. Some of it is very, very good. Contrary to popular perception, not all fanfiction is about sex. I mean, a lot of it is, but not all of it, I promise. If you decide to write some fan fiction, you might want to get someone to beta read it for you. A beta reader is fandom's answer to an editor. A beta reader will go through your writing and check for grammatical issues, which is a good idea because fandom really likes good grammar and really hates bad grammar. A beta reader can also give you input on your plot choices and how you're writing your characters, as well as other content-related issues. Many fans are artists of various persuasions. The most common form of fan art that you're going to find is digital art, and the more traditional drawings and sketches. But you can find any kind of creative expression nowadays, from painting and sketching, to cross-stitch, to crocheting and knitting, modeling clay, jewelry, and even nail art. A fan video is clips from TV shows or movies that are set to a song that the video maker thinks relates to the characters or the plot somehow. A subcategory of fan vids is fan-made trailers. Additionally, fans who have talent in songwriting write songs about the source material that they love. This began with parodies called filks, but in recent years an increasing number of more serious songs have been written, and bands who book gigs and release CDs have been formed. This is particularly true of the Harry Potter and Doctor Who fandoms, which call their fan-written music Wizard Rock and Time Lord Rock respectively, and feature bands such as Harry and the Potters and Chameleon Circuit. Cosplay. This is short for costume play, and that's what fans call it when they dress up as their favorite characters. Some cosplayers are casual about it and are content just to get as close as they can without huge amounts of effort, but some, particularly in the anime section of fandom, are incredibly exacting and will go to extreme lengths to get the costume as perfect as possible. One activity fandom engages in you might not be aware of is advocacy and charity. Fandom is crazy and wild, but sometimes we like to use our powers for good. The community fans around novelist John Green, for example, has resulted in the creation of a charitable fund called the Foundation to Decrease World Suck, which works to decrease the amount of suckiness in the world by raising money, which is then donated to a variety of causes. Over in the Harry Potter fandom, you'll find the Harry Potter Alliance, which works on issues like literacy and social justice. They raised over $123,000 to help Haiti after the earthquake. They've donated more than 87,000 books around the world and even won a $250,000 grant from Chase Community Giving, a crowdsourced philanthropic program. In the heyday of fandom activity on LiveJournal, the disparate fandoms on LiveJournal banded together on several occasions in the aftermath of natural disasters around the world to do a charity auction. Volunteers would leave comments describing things they were willing to create, a box of stuff from wherever they live, a fan fiction or video or art, etc., which others could then bid on. The highest bidder would then donate the winning amount of money to a charity such as the Red Cross, and upon showing proof of the donation, would receive the item they've won. Fandom raised over $100,000 for Haiti in this way, and used the same model in the wake of other natural disasters and raised equally impressive amounts of money. Here are a few important rules to remember if you don't want to get yelled at by your new fandom friends. 1. In the Tumblr parlance, the first rule can be summed up thusly: don't tag your hate. Essentially, and more widely applicably, this means that if you don't like something, do not talk about how much you don't like something in a place where people who do like it are hanging out. Go somewhere and talk about it with other people who don't like it. 2. If the fiction, art, meta, etc. that you're posting contains material that might be triggering to others, such as mental health issues, for example, warn for it. Don't sneak it on unsuspecting victims. You can do them real harm. The old guard fandoms might eat their young sometimes, and there might be some dark corners of fandom, but fandom also protects its own. 3. Speaking of things that you should warn for when posting, let's talk about spoilers. So whether you have advanced knowledge of something that hasn't happened yet in a TV show, or you're talking about the latest book in a series that just came out a few days ago, chances are that a large number of people in fandom won't know the information yet and won't want to have the surprise ruined for them. Even if you don't mind having the surprise spoiled, a large number of your new fandom friends will mind. So do them a favor and hide those spoilers after clearly marking them as such. Fandom is a huge community of passionate people, and it can be intimidating when you're new. But while I might joke about the old guard fandoms eating their young or the trolls lurking in the shadows, at its heart, fandom is about sharing the love of something or someone. It's about coming together from diverse backgrounds and finding common ground. It's about engaging with the media on a deeper level, consuming entertainment mindfully instead of mindlessly. But most of all, fandom is about having fun. So, welcome, and enjoy your stay.
This isn't Hogwarts, this is a concrete box, and the pictures on the wall are never gonna talk, and the teachers don't care, that the kids don't try. The most magical thing we have is fluorescent lights, and they don't put you on Hufflepuff if you're not cool. Instead they sort you in the parking lot after school, and I think if I looked into the mirror of Erised, I'd be wearing wizard robes with gold and red. I'm not saying I'm not proud to be a nerd, but public school ain't no place for a wizard. At public school, ain't no place for a wizard.